you got to figure out how much your time is worth. Okay, it's really important. So many people don't actually think about how much their time is worth, right? So if you had like a standard day job, let's say you made 100 grand a year. What does that mean your hourly worth, right? It's about 50 bucks an hour if it's $100 or if it's 100K a year. So don't work for less than your worth. Or if I go get a day job making 100 grand, why would I want to work for somebody else for myself owning a site for $18 an hour? That just doesn't make sense. So let's say a website's monthly income's $1,000 bucks, right? And it requires 10 hours a week to work. Okay, so for a month it requires 40 hours. So that 1,000 divided by 40 hours is 25 bucks an hour. So is it worth it? You say, oh, it's only 10 hours a week. It's only making 1,000 bucks. Is it worth your time? Everybody here needs to think about what their time is worth. And not everybody is going to have the same value on your time, right? Some people might think my time's worth 500 bucks an hour. Some other people might think it's worth 20 bucks an hour. But everybody here needs to think about that. Who's actually here thought about like what your actual time is worth? I mean, so a good number of people. That's great. It's very important. So again, if a website is making 10 grand a month and it requires the same amount of time, right, 40 hours, now all of a sudden you value your time at $250 an hour. Okay, and this isn't taking into account capital. We'll talk about that a little later. So, do you want a job or an investment, right? Jobs typically require ongoing work. Okay, you can't get paid as much per hour typically, and they have no capital requirements. Okay, hopefully. Some people try to sell you a job. So investments, right, typically require an injection of capital or some kind of specific knowledge or skill in the hopes for appreciation or income in the future. So do you want a job or an investment? That's the question you need to ask yourself, right? So if a site's for sale, it's making $3,000 a month pure profit, 3,000 bucks, right? And somebody says, hey, so it's for six months, right? 18 grand. Who here would buy? Knowing that. Steve would buy it, right? But what are the costs in terms of your time? Right? Now they tell you, hey, it costs you 40 hours a week of work to make that 3 grand. Is that worth it anymore? Right? Divide it out or multiply it. 40 hours times 4 weeks times 50 bucks. It's $8,000 worth of your time to make 3 grand. Don't want to do that, obviously. What's the hourly rate that it's paying? $18.75 based on that income, and that's not accounting for the capital that you're risking by investing in that. So there's 2 ways to look at investments, right? Or there's not 2 ways, but here are 2 ways to look at investments. Okay? Determine how much money you need to make, right? So okay, I want to make 10 grand a month. That's the kind of cash flow I need to cover some bills or something, okay? And then based on that, how much time and money do I need to invest to get there? Okay? The other way you can do it is determine how much money you have to invest and what's the best return you can get using your time and your capital. So, do the time and capital requirements work for you? Right? When you're looking at a deal, you got to think about that. Not just capital, not just time, but both. So, when you're looking at these things, you got to think, okay, yeah, it's going to take me 10 hours a week, so I'm valuing my time at $250 an hour, right? But that doesn't take into account your capital. Right? You can go get a day job making 100 grand. Okay? It's not going to cost you anything. Who here, my assistant, right? She makes like $4,000 a month, okay? Who here is willing to give me 2 years of her annual salary? So what is it, 40, let's say 45, so it's 90 grand. Who wants to pay me 90 grand for me to give you $4,000 a month? So why would you buy a job? It's silly, right? You're risking your capital, and there's no certainty that you're going to be able to continue making that $4,000 a month. Whenever you buy a website, there's risk involved, right? You don't know if it's going to be there tomorrow. So why do you want to risk your capital? You got to compare it, and you got to think about a percentage that makes sense for you to risk your capital, right? How much money is my capital worth versus the risk and what I could invest it in somewhere else? So CD rates, right? 1%, bonds 2 to 6, stock market 7 to 12, real estate 5 to 14. Okay? So why do these investments pay different rates of return? For the most part, it's because of risk, right? The CDs, not a lot of risk in those, although with the government these days, you never know. But, yeah, there's not risk in those. The other things can be more risky. And yes, you get rid of stock market, you make 100%. You can also, if you leverage real estate and if you leverage the stock market, you can not only lose your capital, you can go negative, right? So you have to be careful, and there's risk involved. So you determine, based on your investment, what percentage do I need to get back to make it worth it to me? So what kind of return? So you got to think about what size deal makes sense based on this stuff. So we'll analyze a $100,000 deal and a $500,000 deal, right? Investing in a $100,000 deal, 25% return is what I'm looking for. 25K per year, right? 500K, 125K per year. But it doesn't take into account your time. Okay? So now let's say you got to spend 40 hours a month, so 10 hours a week, multiply that out, that's 24 grand a year. Okay? This one is 24 grand a year. So the total return needed on a $100,000 investment, if you're trying to actually get a 25% return on your capital, is really 49%. So you have to find a deal that's paying out 49%. On this one, 500K, the bigger the deal, the less your time affects the bottom line, right? You only need a 29.8% return on this larger deal because your time is a less of a percentage of the overall thing.